My name is Andrew Migao, and I'm a local animator here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I met Kristen here. Kristen, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kristen Catalano, and I'm a filmmaker, screenwriter, director, and I met Andy at a Milwaukee Film event, and we talked animation, and that's how he came on board to the project.
It was just a mixer. Milwaukee Film hosted at the time many different seasonal mixers. Malignant Practice is really just about being your own advocate. Whether it's any sort of cancer, any sort of surgical thing, like we're really trying to get everybody to want and need to become your own personal advocate. So Malignant Practice, what it follows is it follows along the story of a woman named Jane Doe, and we purposely called her Jane Doe because Jane Doe is very much like she's unanimous. She can be you, she could be me, she could be Kristen, like anybody can be Jane Doe in the situation. And she starts to feel a lump in her breast, and she goes to a doctor, and the doctors kind of pass it off as fatty tissue, don't worry about it, monitor it. If it still starts to hurt, time goes on, and Jane continues to feel a lump, and they've come back with bad news. The film goes through the entire chemo process. The film goes through what people might encounter with whether it's like heavy on the bills, heavy on just emotions within the family aspect. Jane has to go back to work even when she's feeling sick. It's what a lot of families go through during cancer treatments.
So the woman that it first happened to was my cousin, who's my best friend. And then later on, like a year later, after we started making the film, it happened to my sister. A similar story. Hers just wasn't caught by a mammogram. 2 years later, it happened to me where the mammogram didn't pick up my tumor. And so an MRI caught that. So again, what Andy said is just about being your own advocate, pushing for extra tests, getting second opinion, third opinion when you feel like something's not right. It was always going to be an animation. We were going to do more of a hybrid situation with live action interviews and animation, but that didn't really pan out. So we just told the story with all of the information from the interviews in mostly animation, like 98%.
Yeah. Well, Kristen, when we first met, she said she was looking for kind of a very specific style of animation. You referred to it kind of like a whiteboard aesthetic. I didn't want to just have Jane be kind of drawn, like that classic style with the hand, doing all the drawing. I wanted to kind of establish not only is she a drawing, but she is more than that. I really wanted to make sure that this wasn't cheesy or anything, she needs to feel like a real person. There needs to be drama. Otherwise, I think we kind of would fail our mission of the film if that wasn't pulled off.
He took scenes from my script and kind of did a little bit of a spin on a lot of them. Mm-hmm. So his creativity was pretty much in line with what I envisioned, but oftentimes it was even more wow, oh my God. Yeah. So yeah, there's not one scene, one drawing, anything that I don't like. I like it all. I love it all. Kristen. Yeah.
And she had total range to say, I don't like the way Jane looks in this scene. Can we make her look a little more authentic in this scene? There's certain scenes where we suspend reality a little bit, and we walked that line as carefully as we could as to suspension of belief. When is it a dream? When is it reality? And what boundaries can we push on those different things? It gets a little she flies around in her dreams and stuff in the film and stuff, and that's where there was a lot of fun and freedom. Kristen gave me a lot of freedom in those scenes, but then when it came time for the waiting rooms and the doctor scenes and stuff, we had to really pay attention to kind of what those procedures are, and be careful with what we're showing and what we're representing.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think our goal was to wipe out advanced stage breast cancer. I mean, breast cancer is probably always going to exist, unfortunately, but advanced stage really doesn't have to if women push for further testing if they become their own advocates. So
What I've really appreciated about Milwaukee Film, like I've been viewing films here for over 15 years now. 2012, I remember coming to the festival and like really enjoying myself there. They do, in fact, have opportunities for like local filmmakers, and like those mixers were super helpful. Then keep it going, because like it's takes a village to make a film oftentimes. So like the larger and the bigger the community, the better.
yeah, I would just say that they've been so supportive.
Yeah.
We got 2 grants through them, which really helped to kind of put the film in action and push ahead a little bit more. So they've always been supportive, and so they have a really good staff and a really good group of volunteers too. So like Andy said, it takes a village, and
Yeah.
we're grateful for that.
Yeah. I'm not going to spoil anything, but really the message is clear. Like, please be your own advocate. I could say this at the camera if I want to. Like, please be your own advocate. If you feel something that is different or uncomfortable, like, seek help. Do what you can. Like, don't shake it off for anything, because, life is precious. So.
Listen to Andy.